Hey friends, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this super fun double Z-fold card. This uses the Reach for the Stars bundle. This is in the big annual catalog. Cool part about this, has a ton of dies. So if you're also looking to maybe fill in your missing layering circle dies, this has a lot of them. So you have stars, you can die cut the spaceship, the spaceman, you can create lots of different planets. And then there's also these other little dies that do a little bit of embossing. So it's kind of like die embossing. So we are going to use those too. Get this out. I do need this little one here, but there's lots of other stuff you can do. So with the spaceman, you can cut him out. I just kind of wink of Stella this one. Lots of different planets. There's lots of fun different stuff for this stamp set. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp a few of these. And then what I did is I just used the Designer Series paper and I die cut all of these planets. I'll show you on this one too. And I just kind of layered them in different aspects. So for these, you can see I stamped and then I embossed. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I embossed the little bubbles through this line. I thought it was really, really, really cute. But these, so I die cut all of these planets, and this is what I have left. This is just from one sheet of Designer Series paper. And I was toying with making a planet that would stick up behind the spaceman. So I kind of would like put it this way, but I just couldn't figure out how to get in there, fit in there correctly, that it would be behind him when you opened it, but it wasn't overtaking the card because of the way I placed him. So that's another thing. And this is actually just using little strips of either you can use the window sheet, or when you get the photopolymer stamps, it comes with that extra piece. So you can use that, make your own little strips. You could have your little flying planets. So another idea there for you. So we have a couple planets left, and I'm going to just use the pieces of what I have left. I wonder if this one fits on here. I'll probably cut him down just a little bit if so. I'm going to try and line that one up and cut it. And have some planets left. So we do have that holographic paper. So these are two different things you could use depending on what you wanted his dome to look like. So I think I'm going to use the different colors so it looks like he's looking at something and it's got like a pink reflection in his space mask. So that's what we're going to do. So all of the pieces for this are cut. It's already using Starry Sky is our color today. This one's for our spaceman. And these are the layering pieces that are going to go on here. Okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you do use pieces that kind of continue in a picture form, you want to make sure you kind of line them up. With some of these, you can't really tell because they're space. So depending on where the stars go, for these pieces, for example, you really wouldn't be able to tell if you necessarily lined them up incorrectly. But if you do have something where the scene continues, try to make sure that you line them up the way they're supposed to be. Okay, so we have a piece of 4 1/4 by 11. It's scored at 5 1/2, and I believe 2 3/4. Let me just make sure I'm not fibbing to you here. 2 3/4. Okay, so these pieces are just slightly less. I think these are 2 3/8 by 4. Okay, so you need 3 pieces, and then you're going to need a piece of white for this final panel here. Okay, so we're just going to kind of eyeball these where we think they go. Let's see. Probably we'll go like that. So we're going to glue these on, and then this is going to be our last piece. Now you can see there's a little bit of a gap for this one, so it kind of depends. If you want to like off center it slightly so you're not really in the crease there, you see what I mean, for these, or if you want, you could always cut your pieces so they're just a little bit less and then just put these two pieces together. It just really depends on what you're going for. I'm okay with a little bit of a gap, but I'm going to glue these on to get started. And you're just kind of eyeballing so you're in the center of the cardstock. Just like so. And I'm not going to put my planets on just yet because I want to see where I'm going to put my spaceman first of all. And I don't really want it to obstruct. But the cool part is if you cut all these planets out, you can piece in. Let's see where we wanted to go with this. Move him over just a little bit more. You can piece them in so they kind of fit. And then there's less for you to do. So we do have to stamp this. So kind of like eyeball where we want them. And then you have your other piece, which this measures an inch. I just want to make sure I'm not, no, it's 3/4. Nope, it's an inch. It measures an inch. It's the exact same measurements. But how you have these two small folds and then the wide, you want this to be opposite. Okay, so it's going to be like that, and they're going to fold together. But I want to stamp this first before I do anything. So if we had like this guy come in here, this other planet, this one's rather large. He could technically take up both of these, and we could have this behind him. So maybe we'll do something like that. And then I know I have a couple smaller plants. And the nice part about these is if you don't exactly line them up the way you think you will, because the paper is dark, you really won't see. If you have like this one, if you can tell, I'll just put it on here. You can see my edges aren't cut very well, but because the paper is dark, you can't even see it. So take that for what you need it to be. Okay, so I'm going to layer these just for a minute and put those there. And we're going to stamp this, and we're going to stamp the other part. Oh, here's my other little dwarf planet, but those are the same, so I don't want to put two of those. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of stamping done. So we need to stamp our astronaut. And I have just these little bubbles. Okay. And I have the stars. I don't know if they're even stars or what they are. And your stellar. Now I did use the, let me show you here. Whoopsie. Best family ever. And I pulled in the happy birthday for this. So I'm going to do congratulations just because, just to change it up a little bit. So we'll do congratulations, you're stellar. One more. And I did this with lemon lime twist because I thought it was a really nice contrast from Starry Sky. All right, I think that's it. All right, so I'm going to stamp at my larger piece just a scrap. And now that I think about it, I actually did it in Pebbled Path. So Pebbled Path is my spaceman. And obviously you can see this is a very juicy ink. It's one of the newer ink color inks. And I'm going to just stamp him a little bit sideways. Okay, so he's going to dry. Then we have this panel here. And here it is, my bubbles. Starry Sky. And I kind of just did these all over. So I did them on the bottom. Whoops. Let's flip that over. Did them on the bottom. Okay, and then while this was still wet, I just used a blending brush and I kind of just softened it just a little bit. Then I grabbed my stars. Like so. And then I'm going to grab my lemon lime twist. And we'll do congratulations first. One. I just kind of like that off-centered. I don't really know why. Whoops. That would not have been good. Let me go over here just to kind of offset that. That looks good. I like the slightly offset greetings. I guess it's just the way I like to do it. Move all these over because we're going to need to bring in our die cut machine. Set that on the side. Oh, I forgot one thing. Need my little, oh, here it is, my little circle. Okay, so let me show you one thing. Let me just put this pin, my glue. wipe off my fingers. Okay, so for the die cutting, I just have my little mini here. And I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to use just a tiny piece of washi to hold it in place. And I want to put in my circle for his helmet. Now this does stick, and because this is freshly inked, I just take a little bit of the stick off of the washi so it doesn't rip off my ink afterwards. I'm kind of lining him up. Probably better to do this somewhere flat. Lining him up. And I'm going to do the same on this. Put both of these in, hopefully at the same time. Okay, 1, 2. And then we just have one other little, come on, buddy. I have a whole bunch of paper underneath of here, and it could be why this isn't. I might have to do these one at a time. It's not grabbing it the way it normally would. There we go. Okay, so here's our space guy. Put this one here for, you know, this isn't my favorite. I'm still like my big shot, but since we're in a small space, I figure we'll just do what we have to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just line up these little dots. Ooh, did I stamp that? Did I forget to do that? See, that's what I forgot to do. Let me do this really quick. Let me just rewind 1 second. Because it's easier to stamp now versus trying to stamp when you have those little bumps in there. So I'm just going to grab my Starry Sky, and they're just the same little bubbles, or air bubbles, whatever they are, space bubbles. And I just kind of stamped this going across. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Okay, now let me bring that back out. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put this down again, and we'll just do one at a time. So we'll do the larger bubbles and the smaller bubbles. Just like so. Okay, and what this does is it just puts the little embossed impression. And then we'll do it one more time for the long piece. Let me see what I mean. So you can see there's little, cool. And the last one. And this one I'll just use both of them. Kind of just looks like an air bubble trail throughout your card. And, you know, not something you have to do, but I thought it was cute. Over, get all this out of the way. All right, so just make sure our folds are still there. Yep, perfect. Okay, so now all we have to do is just assemble our card. Let me take this off. Yeah, this tape is crazy because it's 3M. No, it's Scotch Expressions, and I guess it's more washi than necessarily tape. I probably should have used Post-it tape knowing that the other one already got a little crazy, but I don't know, just being lazy. But it really sticks, like so much more than you would expect it to. And I'm just kind of using my Wink of Stella brush here, which doesn't have any wink really left in it, just to slightly blend some of that gray. I'm sticking off of the helmet only because we're going to attach something to it anyway. So we're going to put a little bit of glue. Doesn't need to be a lot because it is shiny, and they have that different backing. So I'm just going to put this here, like he's getting a blast from something. Okay, so put him over. And then now all we have to do is add this one little piece on, and our planets, and we'll be good to go. All right. All right, so before we start, I want to fold this because I do need to reinforce my folds. So we have this. We need to put this guy on here. Okay, so what happens is you have this piece that's a Z, and then this part, so this would match exactly, right? What you want it to do is the opposite, so it's going to go small to wide, just like that, okay? So let's put this on. And kind of line that off. You just wanted to make sure that it lines up with the DSP that you already have on there, okay? So there's that, and we had our planet. We'll put him over here. You could even put these up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but so I'm using just this piece, and by putting it on the edge, it kind of looks like it's coming out of the side of the card, which gives you like a pretty cool effect, I think. Put this on the inside. Now, obviously, if you want more room to be able to write, you could put a whole back panel on here, and this is a lot if that's what you're going to do, but and let's just see what this looks like. I'm going to put one more little planet. So we put him on like this. Okay, we normally would have, and you want to make sure that your space guy stays within the parameters of the top and bottom of your card. I kind of like it this way because then it hides the sentiment. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to just put a little bit of glue right on kind of like the knee thigh area. Just like that. And then that way we would technically have room for our planet right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. Another cool thing you could do with this, if you really wanted to get super creative, but it would cost you extra postage if you're mailing this, you can even put a wobbler on your planet, and that way it kind of jumps out behind him. That would be a cute idea. So then you could have that, and he would be wobbling behind it, which is why I was also trying to get away with this, excuse me, this behind here, because I thought it would have been cute to have the planet standing up behind him. But, and you probably could. It's just that it is rather large. So, you know, do what you want with that part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a little bit of glue, and we're going to need to do a little trim here. We're going to put a little bit of glue right here and a little bit of glue right here. Okay, you don't want to get too much, too close to the edge, I should say. Okay, we're going to just close our card. And again, just make sure you're staying within so that your space guy is where he's supposed to be. Just give it a little press. Cool. Just like that. Looks good. Got a little glop of glue here. I'm going to flip this over and just trim right on the edge. Okay. And there you go. Adorable. Really adorable card. So cute. Absolutely love it. Super duper fun. Really fun card. So interactive too. People love those where it's standing up and it looks like, you know, like 3D or whatever. So if you wanted to, this would be the point where if you were going to try to glue this guy behind it, the only thing is I did put another planet on the back because I kind of wanted it to be like, if you could see it from both sides, you only want to glue it to one side because you don't want this to stick closed. So if you're going to put this planet behind him, you're only wanting to adhere it down here with, I'm hoping you can see that, with that little piece of acetate there. So let's just, for the heck of it, let's give it a whirl. I have some really thin double-sided tape. Let's see if we can get it to work. Nope, that's still a little too thick. I gotta use my super thin. We'll see. Doesn't need to be a big piece because that piece is only about 1 inch. And then what you would have to do is just trim off anything on the bottom. And I still think I would put just a little piece of tape just to adhere it to the back, so kind of hold it in place. So let's see if we're going to place this in like so. Let's see. Getting stuck behind his foot. See, this is still just a little too high where it's going to be out of the card. And that's the part that bothers me because I don't want it to be sticking out of the top of the card. Let me go down just a smidge. So then you have like that planet look, like it's right behind him, which is kind of neat. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little piece of cardstock right behind just to cover this up, and I want to trim this part off by the foot. So I'm going to grab just a little piece of Starry Sky just to make like the tiniest cover. Just to kind of give myself a little insurance that it's not going to pop off. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see down in there. So right here, I'm going to just put just a little piece over here. And this, actually, that's perfect. So I'm going to just trim a little piece. And just to be on the safe side, I'm actually going to do it with some double-sided tape. And a little bit of liquid glue. That way, if I need to adjust it, it works. That's the nice part about using either dimensionals or double-sided tape. If you put liquid adhesive on top of it, it allows you to be able to move it a little bit. Okay, let's see if this works. Hopefully it's not too wide. So I'm just laying that right behind it. And I'm just holding it just to cover up. You can see right down in there, that little piece. And if you use your bone folder, you can kind of just press the 2 pieces in. So there you go. I got my little planet in there in the background, which is kind of cool. And from the other side, it looks like a different planet. But, well, that was a little improv. That was a little farther than I wanted to go. But sometimes when you're making cards or making videos as you go, you get a little bit inspired to do something just slightly different. So I'm going to lay this down so you can see this is what it looks like when you have the full card. A lot of fun. Definitely really cool interactive card. So, do you think you know someone who would love to get this card? If so, leave me a comment. I would love to know what you think about it. Thank you so much for taking time to join me today. I'm going to just put these so you can see these. Move these 2 guys out of the way. So you have him. We have our other little space guy or gal, astronaut. And then the other one. I also, I'm not sure, I still think I like the regular holograph versus the pinker holographic paper, but it was great to be able to use all these shapes just because you didn't have to cut them out. You could just die cut them with the dies that are included if you get the bundle. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've learned something new from this video. If you have any questions or comments about the card, please be sure to leave them below in the YouTube description. Right below there, if you click down, you can see a spot for comments. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, make sure that you click on the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. That way, when we make a new video, you'll be able to see it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.